Hey guys, how you guys doing? I hope you had a great Mother's Day. So sorry it sounds like I'm choking. I had a chip and I think it was a little bit spicy and yeah, it's taken me a while to get my breath back. But we wanted to do a flower today. I had my grandchildren over for Mother's Day and we attempted to make some things with flowers, and my granddaughter, my oldest, asked me why I didn't have any red flowers. So we're going to attempt to make a red and a pink one for her today. But she says it's got to be funky, not a regular flower. So that's what we're going to try. So that's going to be one part of the flower. This is going to be the main flower. I've been mixing colors. So the colors I use, just so you know, is white. And I use pomegranate red mixed with white to make more of a pink. This is a red and white, but just a little bit of white in the center. So I gave it more of a pink. And I've mixed up some, like a little leaf that has dark green, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use that yet or not. So we're going to start with the flower, and it's only going to be a 5 cane flower. Okay, but we're going to add some fun stuff in here. So this is white, just wrapped in crimson. I can't pronounce the first word, alizarin maybe. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, so I usually don't. So it's just crimson to me. And we're going to put a couple of these in the middle. I don't know who brought over those chips. They were just regular barbecue, but I'm wondering if they were a spicy barbecue. And boy, that just got me. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down just a little bit so that it's a little bit easier to mess with. As you can see, we got this little hole right there. So we're going to take a little bit of pomegranate and just fill up that space. Sometimes that happens. This is a bigger one right here. I got clay everywhere. I have been mixing colors all day. So hopefully none of this transfers to the cane that I'm making. Okay. I like it better when I work small. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to shape this into a flower petal. I cannot believe I am still choking on whatever it was. Got my nose running and everything. Okay, and I don't like cutting it at 1 inch because it's just too small for my fingers to work. So I usually go a little bit longer. Maybe 1 1/4, 1.25 is usually where I like to. I like to go to 3, but I'm going to be cutting this up a couple times. So just get a good size that you like before you cut it in half. And make sure it's even. Okay. That's our inside. Come like this. Take a little knitting needle. I think I might need a bigger one. And I'm going to start the first one up here. And I want this kind of big. So we're just going to enlarge it a little bit. Okay. So now we know how big we need this. Yeah, we got a ways to go. And I made this wrap with a number 3 because I wanted it kind of thick. I'm just going to cut that right there for now. That should be okay. So this one's kind of squished up a little bit. I need that to be like the same size. So it kind of squished out on me. Okay, and then I'm going to take a tail, and I'm going to put the tail at a number 5. Okay, and I'm just going to set it right underneath that. I made that hole a little too big. You don't want to go too big because you don't want air pockets in there. Okay, and then we're going to reduce this again. I just go again to a comfortable length. I think this is probably my favorite. Not sure about the color. And I told her, you know, my 2 worst colors is a green and a red. But she didn't care. I'd like to make a red rose and add that into our flower bead. So today I'm working on some more of those bead rollers. This time I am making round beads, and I did make one, and it was I did a 6mm, an 8, and a 10, and it was like, no, that's not gonna work. The 6mm are really small. I didn't realize how small they were. I'll shut up for a minute so I can show you. We're gonna put this down. We're only going to make like 2 more, so we're going to put this down a little lower, and we're going to do the same thing we did before. Yeah, I didn't realize the 6mm was so small, so there's no way that I could use that and add decorations on top. There's just no way. So I nixed that. I just figured, okay, well, we can do 6, 8, 10. And then I took some of the necklaces I had that I've done this with, and I noticed that my beads always run around 11 to 12 millimeters. And it's funny because when I lamp work round beads, my smallest that I make is 11 millimeters. It is the perfect earring size. So I just went off of that. So I've got, I might have a 10 that's being worked on now. I don't remember what size I did. It's really horrible, I know, but it might be a 12 and a 14. So I might make one more that's an 11 and a 13. So we're going to see how those turn out in about 2 hours. Again, these shapes or whatever, these rollers, they take forever to print. So I still don't know how I'm going to list them, because I cannot lose my printers for a full day to print one of these unless I have no orders. So right now it is slow. I don't have any orders at the moment. They've all been shipped and they're all out. And so while it's slow, I try and at least print with 2 printers. And that way if an order comes through, I still got a few more that I can throw them on. But yeah, it's kind of hard to make 5 at a time because then I lose my printer for about 8 hours, and I can't do that. So we're still working on that, guys. Don't worry. We're going to figure it out. So we're still in the test stages. I have fixed the loud noise, so that's done. But it's still kind of aggravating that I have to sand after I make them. I really don't want to do that. Alright, so we're on our last cut. half. Okay, isn't that pretty? So I'm going to take the longest. This one looks the longest. Yes, my doggies are barking, like always. Okay, so this is going to be towards the bottom. And we just got to make this a little smaller. So I only need about 1 1/4. So I'm going to cut it right there. And that should give me the most perfect size when it gets to the length I need it, hopefully. Okay. I might need to go a little more. I'll put that right in there, and then another strip out of 5. Okay, so now we have our petal. Okay, so now I can get rid of this for the time being, and we will probably get this to about 1.5 inches, and then we're going to wrap it in the crimson. And again, I don't like cutting it this small because I feel like this ends up giving me a lot more waste than if I go to like 1.5 inches, but it's only going to be a 5 petal flower, so we don't really need it too big. Pair this with some bright yellow flowers would be so pretty, even pink. I'm not a big red and blue fan. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to come across the top right here, and as I reduce it, I'm going to kind of round out the edges a little bit, because I want this to be more of a petal with a round edge, not so square. Okay, so we're going to take some of this crimson now, and we're going to wrap it, and I think I'm going to wrap this in a 3. Should be a good size. And hopefully I have enough to go all the way around. Let's see. I'm not worried about that bottom part because that's going to be cut off. Okay, and then, like I always tell you to do, I'm going to do it now before I forget. Add a little strip on the bottom here of a lighter color. I'm just going to use a regular pomegranate. That way you always know where the bottom of your flower is. You don't need a whole lot. Okay, and I'll cut that because I got a little bit of extra this. Okay, so now I'm going to reduce this into enough to give me 5 petals. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll start on the second step. Be right back. Okay, so we were going to use this for another flower, but I think we're going to combine this one into the flower we already have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make it into an arch shape. But you know what? Before I do, so that it actually looks like it's a part of that leaf instead of being, or petal instead of being separate, I'm going to add some crimson on this. Okay, and that way it'll look like it was meant to be there if I get it right. So let me go ahead and add a little bit more crimson. And this will do it I think we can do it in number 3. But it might give us a little bit too much on the bottom. So this is what I'm going to do. We are going to cut this. This is at a number 3. Okay, so I'm going to go probably just from the side like that, all the way around the top and to the bottom of that other side. Okay, and then I'm going to take this, since I've already got some on top of this, we're going to make this at a number 5, just for the bottom. Okay, so I'm thinking that should be okay right there. And I don't think this one quite touches the bottom, so we're going to give it a little bit of extra here. Okay, and we're just going to put that together like that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and reduce it a little more. Okay, we're pretty much at the size we need it lengthwise. So now we just gotta arch it a little bit more. I think it's an air bubble. There's an air bubble right there. And right there. Okay, so we just need to come out just a little more. So now we're just going to come in and kind of flatten that a little bit on the bottom. But I do need it to flare out just a little more. See, because we're not quite as wide as I want it. And I want it to match the same size right there. So I might have to do it this way and just slowly stretching that from the center all the way down. Don't be intimidated. This is really easy. So I know it's a few extra steps, but it's really easy to get this where it's got to go. Okay, so now we're going to round this up, and we are going to make our 5 petals. I have a feeling I'm going to end up changing the leaf out. I don't know why. Okay, so that's what we got. I know it looks really funky. That's the purpose. So it'll just be a different kind of flower because it's clay and it's fun to be able to do weird stuff. Okay, so I don't want to bore you with reducing this, but I'm just basically going to go back and forth and stretch all the sides until I get to, I need 5, so 3, 6, I need to get to 7.5 to make them 1.5 inches long. So I've got 1, 2, 3, I got 4 inches, 4.5 inches to go. So let me go ahead and pause this and I'll see you in a bit. Alrighty guys, we are back and we had some leaves that were made, but I haven't been able to find one that I really liked. So I made a really quick one here. Ooh, that one's gonna be really weird. But we're gonna go ahead and cut this up. I haven't looked at it yet. Unfortunately, I lost my phone, so it is charging, so hopefully that doesn't get in our way. So I need 5 of these. Okay. Yeah, I know they look funky. They always look funky, don't they? Okay, so this is our red flower. But what we're going to do with the top here is we're just going to squish down that center. Just the top. So I'm going to hold it in my hand so I don't distort too much of the flower. Okay, we're going to kind of make it look like a heart bead. Okay, and then we're going to get some translucent and we're going to fill up that area. Just trying to make sure that it's even here. Even Steven. Okay, so now it kind of looks like a little heart. I mean, it's red, it's got to be hearts. Just 3. And we're going to do 2 more. And 1 more. Even. Right there. Okay. So now we're going to take some translucent, which I've got right here on the table. I don't have a whole lot conditioned just yet, but for now, this will hopefully fill up my centers. And you could wash your hands. As you can see, I'm getting red everywhere. But since it's going to be in the red, it really doesn't matter. So let me see if I can get rid of this wire so it's not in my face. I think I need a new phone, or I need a new battery at least, because it's not staying charged for very long. So let me see where we're at here. We can go a little smaller. I want it to fit inside. I don't want it to sit outside at all because, I want it to be flush with the top. Alright, so we're going to try that again. Try and get this a little more even. Let me see if I've gone too thin now. Hopefully I haven't. Okay, so that's more flush. And there is going to be transparent on the top anyways. I might have to add a couple extra pieces here. I don't know. Like this one can use a little bit more. That one should be okay. Okay, and that should be okay. And I think this one just needed a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so there's our flower. I want it kind of wider on the sides. Oop, I need to lose that. As you can see, this one's a little bigger on that side. So we're going to be kind of like this. So now we need a centerpiece. And I had this right here. I'm just not sure if I liked it or not. And I made this small on purpose because I know that I'm going to have to reduce it a little more. I just want to see how much more. Okay, I don't like that. I really don't like that. So I have a center like this. I have to have more of this. Be kind of silly that I just made this. I guess so. Okay, so we'll get this to 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'll go a little longer. In this I just took a little bit of a bright green, and then I just took mint green around it. Okay, we have to separate it since there's only 5 of them. But I want these edges a little more close to each other. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do one more. This probably would have worked a lot better with six petals than 5. But I knew that I was going to add stuff into it, so okay. So we're going to try this now. Okay. So now yeah, 5 petals is kind of difficult sometimes to work with. You just gotta lay them perfectly. So that's basically the best I'm going to get it, I think. Okay, So that's our flower. Now inside this flower, I want to put these little teeny leaves in there. And I made this. I don't think I'm going to like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this, and then I have a cane like this. So let me go ahead and reduce these down a little bit more on this one. So I'm going to get this one down to that one, and I'll be right back. All right, well, we're back, guys, and boy, it was a long time. I didn't like any of the leaves I had, and I searched through like 5 different cane buckets to look for a stupid green leaf, because the ones I made... All right, let me just show you real quick. Probably easier. So this was the one that I had made, and it didn't look bad, but I wanted it to pop. So I had that. This was one that I made earlier, and obviously I got to like that point in it and just went, yeah, that's not going to work. And then I had this really cool one like this, and I put that in there, and it kind of looked cool. It popped and stuff, but it just didn't work. And then I found this leaf. It looks like that, and I went, oh, that doesn't look too bad in there. So I thought I'd use that, and that was the only piece that I had left of this leaf. So I had to end up making another leaf. And then the pool guy came, and he broke our pump. So I had to deal with him, and it's Monday, right? Yeah, I think it is Monday. So that's a good excuse, but just a crazy night. So I'm a little late in getting this done. And God, I hope these aren't too small, because I really don't want to make another one of these. So sorry for that. But this is it. I am not doing anything else. So if it doesn't look good, you know what? It's not going to look good. So what I'm doing on this leaf is I'm just pointing both ends instead of just one. I'm sure it'll look good either way that I do it, but I am just going to do both sides there and shove those in there. I'm really angry that this pool guy comes, you know, at like 6:30. It's about to get dark, and then of course something breaks, and it's like, we can't fix this now, obviously, because you can't see. And I said, this isn't working for us. You know, you need to come regular time, or we need to switch days. So we'll see what happens, but I'll be the one that's looking at the pump tomorrow, seeing what the heck he could have done. And then if I have to, I'm going to call them back out and make them fix it at no charge. Because he made the mistake even of saying it worked fine until I changed or cleaned the basket. And I said, well, then cleaning the basket shouldn't have broke it. And it's like a brand new pump. So anyways, I don't want to rant. It's just been a very interesting day. Okay, so there's number 3. He's a little thinner than all the other ones. I don't want him thinner. I want him kind of poofy. So what I'm going to do on this is I'm just going to push, and I'm going to push, and I'm going to push, and that way that middle part will be a little thicker. It's still a little thinner than all the other ones. Okay, this one's a little bigger than all the other ones, and this one's a little uglier than all the other ones. So this must be the end piece. So let's just go ahead and make this pointy on that side. And we're going to have to cut some of this off, because obviously it's part of the end of the cane. And I've got clay everywhere just from tonight of all the different greens I threw out, and I just shoved it all over there. So that's usually never a good thing either, but I didn't really have a choice. I didn't know what to do with it, so it'll be one of those nights where I just spend it cleaning it up. But I just want to get this out to you guys, because it's going to be kind of late going up. Oh, I like that, but he's just a little too big. So we're going to just stretch him a little and poof him. That one side's perfect. It's just this side needs to be stretched a little bit. And I needed it 1.5. Alright, well, let's see if we can poof them in a little bit. Okay, so I'm wanting this to come a little higher. I'd like it to be flush. And then that means that's got to go just a little lower. So we're going to kind of do one side at a time here. Okay, and this one I'm just going to push in there a little bit. This one looks like it needs to be pushed out a little bit. And that one looks okay. Okay, so there we go. All these are touching the center. Make sure they're not sideways, which is another thing you got to worry about. And this side, 1, 2, 3. That could be pushed over a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, obviously, is I'm going to pack the rest of it with translucent. So you know me, I'm going to have to condition some translucent before I put it in there. So let me go ahead and do that. Yeah, I don't want to pack it with red, so I will be right back. Okay, guys, so we are at the final reduction. Boy, did I make a mess. So this is what it looks like after packing it. So we just took little rolls of translucent and we stick it in between each of the green. Okay, hopefully it'll all start coming together. And there are some spaces right here, but I think as I reduce it, all those spaces should condense into each other. At least that's what we're hoping. These could have been maybe a little wider. I'm not really sure how I could have avoided that on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce it, and then we're going to do the final cut. So I promise I will be right back. Alrighty, so we got a really nice size cane here. So I like to cut leave my ends on there because I try and reduce it a little bit more. So the rest I cut it about 2 inches. And then we'll look at them. Okay, always the nervous part, isn't it? And there is our little flowers. I'm shocked that the leaves actually had that much detail by reducing them so small. Okay, so that's what we got. I really do like those. They turned out okay. With all the time I put on it, I'm glad they worked out. So let me see what I can do with this really quick. So what I'm going to do here, and I know a lot of times, guys, I don't put my finished product is, and that's because I pretty much make canes, and that's all I do. I don't have time to put them together. So I promise I'm going to try and get a little better. Somebody told me about the community section on, I guess there's a community section on YouTube. I didn't know that. But now that I know that, maybe I can just start uploading my things onto that. Okay, so I'm trying to do a 1/2 inch here, so I don't want it too small, but I don't want it too big either. The one thing great about using translucent with the clay is it doesn't make it all mushy. Okay, so we're going to do that. Just take a little quick dab of that, and yeah, I'm going to cut me some paper, which I always do. I need to really just start cutting 3x4 strips of paper or something. So now we're just going to really gently put it in here. I really hate working with nails like this. Really sorry. That's one thing about working with clay. It gets underneath. My hands are constantly in the water. I don't have the patience to paint my own nails because I'm constantly doing stuff, and I always get up and I totally ruin them before they're dry. So it is what it is. But they drive me crazy because then I spend the next hour cleaning them out. Okay, so I'm just making sure that if you can see this translucent on the side, you can kind of see it, a seam. So you just basically want to melt it down, or not melt it down, just burnish it down until you don't see that seam anymore. And it's all one perfect round circle. And that one is, it looks like. This one, it's just this little corner right here. Okay, and I'm going to make sure they're both the same size. Okay, and then this I might have to move a little bit down because I don't want to stick my face in there. And I want to be able to cut the flower to where it's all in there. This one's going to be a little harder to see, sorry. I move it a little more. But I'll show it to you when I finish it, I promise. Okay. So what these will be is the top of a pair of earrings. I don't know if you can see that. So these could be the very top with a hole in the bottom and a hole on the top. And let's see, what do we have? We have red and pink. So let me grab one more flower. I know the flower that I want to use. It's going to be a pinky and a yellow. I think that'll look good with the yellow, or the red and the green. So I got a little bit of clay here. So let me pause this. I'm going to go ahead and condition some clay and I'll be right back. Okay, so I found these daggers, which I probably should wait before I do that. Let me go ahead and texture the back. Although you may have to texture it again because you're going to be pressing down. A lot of times I'll press, or I'll do a second backing after it comes out of the oven. It depends. So I'm going to cut back this bad area right here. Okay. And the reason I usually outline it, oops, is then I know kind of where to put the beads. So I'm going to leave that size. This one I'm going to reduce it down a little bit. I kind of want one big flower. So, oh, that one's just a little too thin. So I'm going to put that right there. Okay. And then, yeah. I'm going to make this side smaller. And if I have any bit of that leaf that I just made left over, I might lay some of that down. So all I'm doing here is just reducing it. I like to have one really small one, even a teeny one, and then just move up a little bit. from there. I don't usually go really big unless I'm making a veneer or something like that, which I really don't do often. So it's basically only jewelry that I do. Okay, so now we got some really small ones. So I just put like a small one over here. And you don't have to cover up the red. I'm going to cut that right there. And I'm going to take just make that a little bigger. And you know my issues that I have with placement, so that's the hardest part. Let's figure out where to put it. And yeah, I'm going to kind of have these kind of mirror each other. And I do have that leaf. So we're going to make this a little smaller. Okay, I'm just going to put a little piece right there. And put a little one right there. Okay. So if I want to mirror this, I put that like that. And it doesn't have to be exact. Don't go crazy if you can't make it exact, because that would be really hard. Okay, so I'm going to do two more, because one of them I'm going to hide with another kind of flower on top of it. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I'm just going to lay that right there. And don't go too thin. Okay, so I've got those two, so this one's coming down kind of like sideways like that. Because if you, like me, and you sand it, then you will lose your leaf. Okay, so I have this color right here. This is a pink and a yellow. I think yellow and red are very pretty. Made that one too thin. So that is on. See this? I think that's the problem. Is this one's just too close to the edge? Ah, I knew that was going to happen, didn't I? See if I can hold on to this flower on my finger for a minute. It doesn't help when you're nearsighted and you can't really see what you got going on here. Okay, so we got that. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this again. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Or a lot smaller. I'm going to put one right there. up on top. Okay, that doesn't look any smaller than the other ones. Just gonna do one more there. So what do I have? 5. I put one right there, even though it comes off of the side. Okay, now we're gonna do that on the other side. So one there. Definitely need one right there. And we'll put this one right there. Okay, so now all we got to do is, again, burnish it all in there. And be gentle so you don't distort your flowers. So I'm putting pressure, but I'm putting really light pressure. And you know, a lot of times you can just leave them raised as well. Oops, I don't want that to touch. Okay, so I'm going to pause this really quick while I do this because I got to get my head down there. I'll be right back. Okay, so I turned it upside down and I retextured it because I lost a little bit of it. And now that we're all burnished in there, I don't know if you can see it. You can see that there's really no, well, there's a little seam here, and that's just because that's where the cutter is. But that's all in where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to move you over one more time. And I'm going to lay this exactly where I had it. Okay, about right there. Okay. Push down. And it's going to be the same with this one. I'm not sure if I got the whole flower down there, so I guess it's somewhere around here. It's a little off, but that's okay. It's not going to be identical, is it? So now that somebody told me about the community tab on YouTube, I will load these up on that when they're all sanded, and I don't know why I got a piece of hair that stuck to everything tonight, but when they're sanded and put together. So you can either do it like that, okay, or if you wanted to bring out a little bit of the little flowers, I'm going to do that really quick. You can use that, and I got these at a 3. And let's see, it's good size right there. So let me grab a little cutter here. And I gotta straighten this out because it's not laying straight here. So I'm gonna do a little piece like that. Hopefully I have enough to do one more. I'm gonna cut that a little short. Thinking that'll be okay. So let's see what this is gonna look like. That was actually really fun to make. Like I said, usually I make the cane, but I don't do a whole lot with them because I hate trying to figure out how to place them. But those came out okay. So I'm going to come over here really quick and do this now. Okay. And just burnish it a little more. I'll try and do my rubber stamp. At least it gets them even, same size and thickness on both of them. Yeah, translucent's the hardest to try and get in there. I don't know if it's because it's a lot more stiff. That takes a little bit more time. Okay, one more. And if it comes out thinner than the earrings, then I will just come back and do that again. So I'm going to set this back down really low here so you're not seeing my head in the shot. Okay. Cut that about right there. And if I don't think these turn out, I will make me some later. I just want to see what this is going to look like. Just got a little bit more red showing. So if you don't like the red, so you've got two different ways you can do it. Or you could probably even take a red flower and you could put a couple orange ones if you want. Or you don't have to use the floral at all. You can just completely use solid red or whatever you want. You don't even need one of these on top of it. So that's what they look like. I'm going to go throw these in the oven. I'll have them sanded. And then whatever I finish them, I will put them on the community page. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked it. I hope this wasn't as long as I think it is. But have a great night, and we'll talk to you later on. Bye.